Good morning, everyone. Jill here with North Texas Vegetable Gardening, Canning Recipes, a little bit of everything. I'm on the new camera this morning. What do y'all think? You're going to have to let me know. So, did y'all see that opening of my video? That is a conglomeration or a conglomerate of all the pictures that you all have sent me from our community here on our Canning 365 challenge for 2023. And if you're new to my channel, and if you don't understand what that is, I have challenged our community to can 365 jars this year of ready-to-eat meals, meats, vegetables. Also, you can dehydrate, you can freeze dry, you can freezer pack. We just want to stock our pantries together. So that's what this challenge is all about. So the great thing about this is Alabama Prepper, Margaret, I believe that is your name. Thank you so much for giving us a shout out. You guys need to go check out her channel because she is coming out of the gate strong. Also, Mimi Todd, she also has accepted the challenge. She has a channel. Go check her out. And Central Texas Homestead, which you guys should already be familiar with, they have accepted this challenge as well, along with so many of you. And so this morning, I'm going to start to do a pork roast. We're going to do a cold pack. And we'll get more into that as we get going. But you guys, there's still time to join this challenge. It averages out to be about 7 pints or 7 quarts or 7 freeze-dried or dehydrated meals a week. We can do this. We can do this. And I'm very excited to get going and see what all you guys come up with. Stay tuned to the end of this video so that I can call out your names and showcase your beautiful goods that you have already started this year. And now we're going to get started on canning a pork roast, an already cooked pork roast that I cooked day before yesterday. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is. And so to get started, guys, what I want to do is go over some of the basics, because many of you are seasoned canners, and boy, are you showing it. And many of you have commented that you have not canned before, that it's a little intimidating, or you're a little uncertain. So we're going to go over some of those basics today to maybe get you jump started into this challenge for 2023. So let's go over it now. We are using a Presto canner, and our Presto canner is one I've used for over the years. It has the dial pressure gauge. I prefer that over the weighted pressure gauges. It's a rather large one. So I think I got this for like $80, guys, and during the mess, they went up substantially. They just went up to like over $200. So if you can find one of those with a dial, I think it would be a great start for you beginning canners. You also want to make sure you have your handy dandy canning kit, which involves your little tongs, your debubbler, your magnet, various funnels so that when you're filling your jars, you'll be able to do that. Make sure and go ahead and get you some canning jars and some lids. I think that they're becoming a little bit more available than they were over the last couple of years. And I think, guys, that's it. So let's get started on doing this cold pack. You're going to find this one to be very easy. This is exactly how I canned my, my turkey from the holidays. The turkey was already cooked, so we're going to mimic that process. And so if you're canning rotisserie chicken that's already done, turkey that you already have made up, or any other kind of meat that you want to can up your leftovers, this is how you want to do it. Stay tuned. So since we're doing cold pack, guys, I'm not heating up the water in my pressure canner very high. I'm just going to let it warm up a little bit, because you don't want to introduce hot jars to cold water or cold jars to hot water. You will risk cracking your jars. So I'm just going to let this warm up a little bit, and while this is warming, I do have my lids being heated up. You don't want your water boiling, but you do want them heated up a little bit, because this is how we're going to seal our jars. And now I'm going to start packing my roast in my clean jars. Now the canning process will sterilize your jars for you. So I'm not worried about sterilizing them in the oven or the dishwasher. I just want to make sure they're clean. This is how we do it, guys. Be sure and get you a good ball canning book so you can go over some of this if you're new to canning. But this is how we are going to do it this morning. So I have my roast here. I'm going to start packing. And I'm going to use chicken broth. as my liquid to give it a little bit of flavor, and the chicken broth is at room temp as well. So let's go ahead and get these jars packed up. We're going to get them packed as tight as we can. I did go ahead and remove, cut off some of the fat on this because sometimes fat will inhibit the seal on your jar. That's just the way I feel about it. You can do some investigating and see what you think, but for me, that's what I choose to do. So let's get these packed up. And I'll come back to you when I get them all packed. Okay, so I have my jars packed, and I found some prime rib that we had the other night. I'm going to go ahead and can that up as well, and I'm using chicken broth for that as well. Can't let stuff like that go to waste. So I got 3 pints of the pork roast and 2 pints of the prime rib. Now we can use this prime rib in stews. We can use the roast in stews. All kinds of things, guys, we can do with this. So now that I have my jars packed, I want to make sure that we have an inch head space right on the money here of this last prong on your debubbler. And then, guys, you want to be sure and debubble to get rid of any air in your jars so it won't compromise your seal. So we want to do this for all of these jars. So after debubbling, I realized I needed to add a little bit more liquid to top it off to give us an inch head space. So now I'm going to add about a ½ teaspoon of pickling salt, guys. Not much, to each jar. And then you want to take a paper towel and put a little bit of apple cider vinegar on it, and you want to wipe your rims of your jar. There's a couple of reasons why this will help it seal better. Also, as you're wiping it, you will notice if there's any chips or cracks on your jar. So you want to make sure that your jars and your lids are in good shape. Apple cider vinegar is really good about getting the grease or the oil off the top and give it just a clean seal. So now I'm ready to put my lids on. So again, these are not in boiling water, but they are pretty hot. And then when you put your bands on, you just want to do a finger tight, guys. And a finger tight is that. So let's get all these on. Now I can feel my jars, they're pretty cold. So again, that's why I didn't want to put them in any kind of hot water, just maybe some warm water in my canner. Now I'm going to touch my canner water and make sure that we're good to go. I don't want to compromise. Yeah, it's just lukewarm, guys. So we're going to go ahead and load these in the canner. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that temperature up gradually so that as the water heats up, it's going to heat up our jars and not cause any kind of big temperature difference. So now I'm going to turn up my heat a little bit. Now this takes a little extra time. I could have heated up the meat in a pot with the broth and then packed them in hot jars and then already had my canner up to temp and put them in there. That would have been just fine, but for me this is the easiest right now because I can bring this up gradually. Like I said, it's going to take a little bit more time to get it up to where you need it to start your pressure process, but this is really a simple, easy way for me right now. You could do it either way, guys, either way. All right, guys, I think I've got it up to temp. Now I put about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of water. I can touch the water and it doesn't just burn me right away, but it's hot. I'm checking my jars and I think that they've heated up enough. So now I'm going to put on my lid to my pressure canner. This is where the excitement takes place. And we're going to seal it up. Now I'm using a glass top, guys, and I've always used a glass top in my canning. Some of you might be uncomfortable with it because it will scratch at times. I've had some scratches here and there, but it's nothing I'm concerned about. So for those of you that are questioning the glass cooktop, I do just fine with it. In fact, I do better than with the burners because once I get it up to my pressure temp and my pressure poundage, I am finding that I have a sweet spot on my stove where I can set it and it stays pretty consistent at my pressure of what I want. Now for us, we want to get up to 11 pounds of pressure. So be sure and check your area to make sure that whether you need to use 10 pounds, 11 pounds, or 15 pounds of pressure. Of course, the higher the elevation, the more pressure you're going to need to use. And for us, here in North Texas, it's about 10 to 11 pounds. I'm going to pressure at 11 pounds. So first off, before we let it get to pressuring, we want to let this start to steam. And once it starts steaming, it needs to shoot out steam for 10 minutes. And this gets all the pressure out of your canner before I add my little weight that's going to allow my pressure to start kicking up. So I'm going to kick up my heat a little bit, let it get to that point, and then we're going to set the timer for 10 minutes. It won't be long. I hope this is helping you guys. I think that once you get going and once you get comfortable with it and you get a couple of these under your belt, you're going to be a pro in no time. We're trying something different here, guys. I'm trying to remote control this with the phone, so if I'm looking down. Okay, so we have gotten up to steam here. I got about 6 more minutes left. You can see it's a pretty steady steam. So once that gets up to 10 minutes, what I'll do is I'll put my little weight on there and then we're going to bring it up to 11 pounds. Okay guys, it's gone 10 minutes. Again, you can see it's a pretty steady steam. So now it's time to put on my handy dandy little weight. So now it'll rise pretty quick to 11 pounds, probably about, let's see here, maybe 8 to 10 minutes. Once it gets up to my 11 pounds, I'm going to start adjusting my heat. And I'm going to stand here a little bit to watch and see when it stops, either when it stops going up and maybe levels off. Now, once you get to that poundage, you want to check it frequently, especially if you're new, and just make sure that it's staying around that, because if it drops below whatever your poundage rating is, guys, you have to start back over and get it back up to the right poundage and then start your time back over. So these are pints. These are pints. So we are going to can for 75 minutes once we get going here. So yeah, it's rising pretty quick. So I'm gonna get my timer ready here. And again, once it gets up to 11 pounds, I'm going to go ahead and set my timer, and I'm going to stand here for a little bit and make sure I hit that sweet spot on my burners to maintain that 11 pounds of pressure. So we're already at about 3 right now, pretty good. So it's moving, it's trucking pretty good. And then 75 minutes later, we'll be completing our process. Pretty exciting, isn't it? So we've hit the magic number at 11 pounds. It took about 12 minutes to get there, guys. So now I'm going to turn down my heat and try to get that sweet spot. So I've turned it down to 2, and I'm going to wait and see what happens. If it continues to rise, I'll turn it down just a little bit more. Now, if you're canning quarts, your time will be 90 minutes. But we're doing pints, so it's going to be about 75 minutes. Okay, we are off to the races. So let's stand here a minute and just make sure that it starts to level out and stop increasing in the pressure. I'm going to watch it. Looks like it's continuing to rise a little bit, so I'm going to bring my heat down. So normally my sweet spot on my stove is in between low and 2. That is where I can get to where it's going to sit there and stay stable throughout the canning process. So let's wait here and see if I've slowed it down a little bit. And I can also tell because I can hear my burner kicking on and off. So I know that it's not applying heat at certain times. It looks like it's stopping, starting to level out a little bit. Yeah. So I'm going to stand here and I'm going to watch this a little bit longer. I'm going to make sure that we stay consistently at 11 pounds, or sometimes it goes a little over. I'm okay with that as long as it stays around 11 pounds. And I'm going to let this process now for 75 minutes. I can't wait to show you guys the finished product. And we'll go over the end and what you need to do once you reach your time limit. Stay tuned. Okay guys, our 75 minutes have passed. I've turned off my timer. Now I'm going to turn off my heat. We're not going to do anything until pressure drops down to 0 and until you have another little vent here in back of your lid, and until that drops down. Do not remove this. This is all part of the process. So now we're just going to sit and wait. It's probably going to take about 30 minutes for this to die down. Then we'll open her up and we'll see what we got. Alright guys, we are finished up. It dropped down to 0 and it took another couple of minutes for this little flap to drop down. You want to wait for that to drop, guys, and you want to make sure that all the pressure has been removed. It took about 30 minutes. So before I open this up, I wanted to show you guys Brookshire's. Brookshire's is having their buy one get one for a penny sale on meat. So if you are doing this challenge and you have a Brookshire's in your area, this is something we're going to have to check into and go ahead and pick up some of this stuff. And I'll be doing some more videos on canning other meats and the raw pack method. So let's get started over here and check this out. So you want to keep in mind that when you're taking off your lid, turn it, and you want to tilt the back end up away from you so the steam goes away. Be careful when you do this because it is hot in there, guys. And I've got these handy dandy mitts here that help me out. Whew, hot chihuahua. Everything is intact. Everything did well. So I'm going to wait a minute here and then we'll take it out with our little tongs. I just want things to settle a bit. But anyway, there's a lot of great sales here in this Brookshire's. They have a buy one get one for a penny for a boneless rump roast. Buy one get one for a penny, the Tyson boneless skinless chicken breast. Boneless pork chops or pork loin roast. That's what we just did. One of these or a pork roast is one we just did. Buy one get one for a penny. And then they also have their cheeses. Buy one get one for a penny. So I'll need to pick up some of those. Albertsons didn't have really any good sales. So now let's take these jars out. Let's see what they look like. I'm going to turn the camera here a little bit. So bear with me. It's on a tripod, guys. Let's see if y'all be able to see that. Yeah, I think you will. I'm going to put them right here on this towel. Beautiful. This is the prime rib. This is the pork roast. And look guys, that looks almost like pulled pork. So we could make some pulled pork sandwiches out of these. They are hot chihuahua. And here is the other pork roast. Prime rib. They are bubbling away. So we want to let these sit for 24 hours, guys, before we really move them and mess with them. And then tomorrow about this time, I'll undo the bands. I'll label them. You don't want to leave your bands on these jars because you won't know if they are properly sealed when you go to use them. So once you remove your bands, you can pick them up by the lid and make sure you have a good seal. That's very important that you do. So, thank you guys for joining me this morning on this canning video. Again, I hope this helps put some of your minds at ease for those of you that are very nervous about doing this. You can do this, guys. You can do this. And if you're new to the channel, join our challenge and be sure and send me your photos of what you're canning to my email account, which is hbjtexas2020@gmail.com. So I'm going to end this video with pictures and the names of the folks who have already sent me theirs and what they're doing. There's one in there that I could not find who had sent that to me. If that is yours, please comment below so I can add that to the next video. I'm going to enjoy doing this, guys. I'm going to enjoy very much showcasing what you guys have done and what you're going to continue to do. This is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great challenge. And at the end of the year, we will all get together and we will show what we were able to accomplish in 2023. So take care. God bless. I think I've covered everything. If not, you guys chime in on the comments below. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. Be sure and share this video, guys. And be sure and leave comments. This helps push our videos up with the AI, I guess is what I'm trying to think. And so that will help us get more viewers, and it'll help our channel grow, and it'll help bring on others who want to do this 365 challenge. Take care. God bless. Love you all. Enjoy this slideshow.